Have you ever noticed how the smartest people seem to have a quiet confidence and never say certain things that hold others back? What if I told you that the words you choose can either trap you in limitation or unlock your true potential? Today, we're diving deep into 7 powerful phrases that an intelligent man never utters. Phrases that reveal a closed mind, excuse avoidance, and stunt growth. Rooted in timeless Stoic philosophy, this video will show you how shifting your mindset away from these words can lead to wisdom, resilience, and unstoppable personal growth. If you want to cultivate true intelligence, beyond just knowledge, and live with purpose, this is a must-watch. So hit that like button, subscribe, and let's uncover these game-changing phrases together. Ready to elevate your mindset? Let's get started. Number 1, I already know that. On the surface, the phrase, I already know that, might appear as a simple declaration of confidence or competence. Yet beneath this seemingly harmless expression lies a subtle but powerful intellectual pitfall. A doorway that, once closed, blocks the path to growth, wisdom, and transformation. The truly intelligent man understands that knowledge is not a finite treasure chest to be locked away, but an infinite ocean to be explored with humility and curiosity. To utter, I already know that, is to draw a line in the sand, refusing the invitation to learn more, to see differently, and to deepen understanding. This phrase represents what the Stoics recognized as intellectual arrogance or kenodoxia, the false opinion that one possesses complete knowledge and no longer needs to improve or listen. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most revered Stoic philosophers, confronted this tendency head-on in his Meditations. Despite being an emperor with vast knowledge and experience, he humbly reminded himself daily to remain a student of life, never to fall into the trap of believing he had all the answers. He wrote, "Do not be ashamed to need help. To refuse to learn is the greatest of all errors." The Stoics taught that wisdom is not merely the accumulation of facts, but the ongoing refinement of judgment through constant self-examination and openness to new ideas. Marcus Aurelius likened the mind to a vast and fertile field, one that must continually be plowed and sown with new seeds of knowledge. To say, I already know that, is to reject new seeds, leaving the field barren and unproductive. It is intellectual stagnation disguised as confidence. Seneca, another foundational Stoic thinker, warned that pride and arrogance blind us to our ignorance and make us prisoners of our own limited perspectives. He urged us to adopt a posture of humility, echoing Socrates' famous admission, "I know that I know nothing." However, this paradox, knowing the limits of one's knowledge, is the cornerstone of true wisdom. Without it, the mind becomes rigid, defensive, and closed to the possibility of growth. Epictetus, a former slave-turned-philosopher, emphasized the importance of focusing not on what we think we know, but on what we can learn. He taught that true freedom and power come from mastering ourselves, which includes mastering the art of listening, questioning, and remaining teachable throughout life. The phrase, "I already know that," cuts off the flow of learning and invites complacency, 2 enemies of Stoic virtue. This phrase also reflects a psychological barrier rooted in fear. The fear of admitting ignorance, of appearing vulnerable, or of being challenged. But the Stoics remind us that vulnerability in learning is not a weakness, but a profound strength. To acknowledge that you don't know something opens the door to wisdom, resilience, and adaptability. When an intelligent man resists saying, "I already know that," he is consciously rejecting intellectual arrogance and embracing what the Stoics call prohairesis, the power of choice. He chooses to remain open-minded, curious, and humble. He understands that no matter how much he has learned, there is always more to uncover, and that his growth depends on this openness. Moreover, by avoiding this phrase, the intelligent man invites dialogue, new perspectives, and challenges to his thinking, which sharpen his judgment and deepen his understanding. He embodies the Stoic ideal of ataraxia, a calm and resilient mind that is undisturbed by pride or defensiveness, and instead fueled by continuous learning and self-improvement. In practice, this means listening attentively, asking questions, and reflecting deeply on new information rather than dismissing it outright. It means valuing progress over pride and recognizing that true intelligence is a lifelong journey, not a fixed state. It is the humility to say, maybe I don't know everything, coupled with the courage to seek truth wherever it may be found. In short, saying, I already know that, is a subtle form of closing the mind and limiting potential. The intelligent man, grounded in Stoic philosophy, understands that wisdom begins with the admission of ignorance, and that every moment is an opportunity to learn, grow, and become a better version of himself. By consciously avoiding this phrase, he keeps his mind open, his judgment clear, and his spirit humble, a foundation for a life of wisdom, virtue, and continuous self-mastery. Number 2, that's impossible. Few phrases are as limiting and defeatist as that's impossible. When a man declares something impossible, he's not just making a statement about external reality. He's revealing the boundaries of his own mindset, his fears, and his self-imposed limitations. An intelligent man avoids this phrase because he knows it surrenders power prematurely and betrays a lack of faith in his ability to influence outcomes through persistence, creativity, and disciplined effort. Stoicism teaches us to distinguish between what lies within our control and what does not. Epictetus, a foundational Stoic philosopher, emphasized this principle by asserting, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Seneca, labeling a challenge impossible, ignores this fundamental truth by prematurely declaring defeat before even engaging with the obstacle. The only true impossibilities are those beyond our sphere of influence, like other people's actions or the unpredictable events of fate. But the effort, mindset, and choices we bring to any situation are firmly within our control. Marcus Aurelius, whose reign was marked by constant challenges, reminds us in his Meditations, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Nefrentur. This is a profound Stoic insight. Difficulties themselves contain the seeds of growth and opportunity. Calling something impossible shuts down this transformative potential. It is an abdication of responsibility to face adversity with courage and resourcefulness. An intelligent man views obstacles as invitations to innovate and adapt. He understands that even the most daunting tasks can be tackled by breaking them down into manageable steps, focusing on what can be done now rather than becoming overwhelmed by what seems out of reach. This approach reflects the Stoic ideal of prohairesis, the power of rational choice to act virtuously and wisely, regardless of external circumstances. Moreover, saying that's impossible is often a disguise for fear. Fear of failure, of uncertainty, or of discomfort. But Seneca warns that difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. True strength and wisdom emerge not in comfort, but in the persistent struggle against adversity. The intelligent man embraces challenges as essential training for his character, knowing that resilience and patience are virtues forged in the fire of difficulty. By rejecting "that's impossible," the intelligent man cultivates hope and agency. He knows that persistence, patience, and continuous effort are often the keys that unlock what once seemed out of reach. Instead of succumbing to defeatism, he chooses to focus on his responses, his mindset, and his actions, elements that remain firmly under his control. In the face of a seemingly impossible challenge, the Stoic asks, "What is within my power to do? How can I proceed step by step?" He answers with calm determination and refuses to let fear or frustration dictate his course. This mindset transforms obstacles from dead ends into pathways of growth and wisdom. So, when tempted to say that's impossible, the intelligent man instead reflects, "This may be difficult, but I have control over my efforts and attitude. I will act wisely, patiently, and persistently." It is this resilience born from Stoic discipline that separates those who falter from those who triumph, not by magic, but through steady, purposeful action. Number 3, that's not my fault. Saying that's not my fault is a phrase that reflects avoidance and denial. It is the act of shifting blame outward, refusing to acknowledge any responsibility for the situation at hand. An intelligent man avoids this phrase because he understands that true power and freedom arise not from evading responsibility, but from embracing it, even for things only partially within his control. Stoicism teaches that while we cannot control every event or outcome, we are always responsible for our own judgments, actions, and reactions. Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." To say that's not my fault is to abdicate this core Stoic principle by surrendering the very power we possess, the ability to respond virtuously and wisely, regardless of external circumstances. Marcus Aurelius, confronted with countless challenges, both personal and political, consistently reminded himself to accept responsibility, regardless of blame or fault. He saw that true strength lay in ownership, owning one's role in a problem and seeking how to contribute to its resolution. He wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Responsibility for the Stoics is inseparable from integrity. Avoiding responsibility by blaming others or circumstances undermines personal growth. Seneca warned against this evasion, stating, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of things." When we refuse to own our part in a problem, we allow external factors to control our peace of mind and limit our ability to act constructively. An intelligent man recognizes that even if he is not wholly at fault, he often holds some influence in the situation. By accepting this influence, he steps into the role of problem solver rather than victim. This aligns with the Stoic practice of focusing energy on what is within one's control and letting go of what is not. Refusing responsibility only wastes energy on blame, frustration, and resentment, whereas ownership channels energy toward improvement. Furthermore, embracing responsibility builds resilience and character. It means cultivating virtues, the Stoic ideal of moral excellence, which requires courage, wisdom, and justice. It means choosing to be part of the solution, even when circumstances are unfair or challenging. When you find yourself tempted to say, "That's not my fault," pause and ask, "What can I control here? How can I respond in a way that reflects my values? What part do I play, however small, in resolving this?" Taking responsibility empowers you to act, to influence, and to grow, rather than remaining stuck in victimhood. In the end, the intelligent man knows that blame is a dead end, but responsibility is a path forward. He understands that peace of mind and true influence come from owning his role in life's challenges and committing to constructive action. This mindset, deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy, turns adversity into opportunity and weakness into strength. Number 4, I don't need any help. Saying I don't need any help might seem like a declaration of strength or independence, but from the standpoint of true intelligence and Stoic wisdom, it often reveals a subtle but dangerous form of pride and misunderstanding of human nature. An intelligent man recognizes that strength is not defined by isolation or self-sufficiency alone, but by the wisdom and humility to acknowledge one's limits and the courage to seek support when needed. In fact, refusing help can be a barrier to growth, resilience, and ultimately tranquility. Stoicism fundamentally teaches that human beings are social creatures, created to live in harmony and cooperation with others. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "We were born to work together like feet, hands, and eyes, like the 2 rows of teeth, upper and lower." Duhornum. This analogy underscores the Stoic concept of oikiosis, a natural affinity and belonging, not only within ourselves, but extending outward to our families, communities, and society at large. To reject help is to deny this fundamental connection and the reality that our individual strength is intertwined with the support of others. Epictetus, a cornerstone figure in Stoicism, emphasized self-knowledge and the acceptance of what lies within and beyond our control. Recognizing when help is needed is a manifestation of this wisdom. The phrase, "I don't need any help," often arises from a place of fear of appearing weak, incompetent, or vulnerable. Yet the Stoics teach that admitting vulnerability is a courageous and necessary step on the path to virtue and wisdom. As Seneca advised, no man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity with a friend. True strength lies in recognizing our limitations and opening ourselves to collaboration, not in stubborn isolation. Furthermore, life is unpredictable and full of challenges that no single person can overcome alone. The Stoics encourage cultivating philia, the friendship and mutual goodwill that fortify us against misfortune. Accepting help is an act of prudence and practical wisdom because it expands our capacities and resources, enabling us to respond more effectively to adversity. Refusing help can lead to unnecessary struggle, burnout, and missed opportunities for learning and growth. On a deeper level, refusing help isolates the individual from the community's collective wisdom and experience. Intelligent men understand that the path to excellence is not a solitary journey, but one enriched by mentors, peers, and allies. As Seneca also said, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." Seeking support is not a sign of weakness, but a strategic, virtuous act that aligns with the Stoic pursuit of self-improvement. Finally, humility, the recognition that we do not possess all knowledge or strength, is central to the Stoic ideal of virtue. The intelligent man practices humility daily by being open to assistance and collaboration, thereby cultivating resilience, wisdom, and inner peace. In summary, the phrase, "I don't need any help," masks pride and denies a fundamental human truth. We are stronger together. Guided by Stoic principles, the intelligent man embraces help as a vital component of growth and flourishing, transforming vulnerability into strength and isolation into meaningful connection. Number 5, I'm too old for that. The statement, "I'm too old for that," is more than just a phrase. It is a self-imposed limitation that closes the door on growth, learning, and purpose. An intelligent man never utters these words because he understands that age, as an external condition, does not define one's capacity for wisdom, achievement, or transformation. Stoic philosophy teaches that the true measure of a person lies not in the number of years lived, but in the quality of their inner life, their virtue, mindset, and the choices they make. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic emperors, reminds us repeatedly in his meditations that life is fleeting and unpredictable, yet every moment is precious and ripe with opportunity. Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. His words compel us to act with purpose and virtue every day, regardless of age. To say "I'm too old for that" is to deny this urgent call to live fully and wisely, choosing instead to resign oneself prematurely. The Stoics emphasize the power of prohairesis, the faculty of moral will, or the ability to choose how we respond to life's circumstances. This inner power is not bound by time or age. Seneca asserts, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." The phrase "I'm too old" often masks fear. Fear of failure, fear of stepping out of comfort zones, or fear of the unknown. Yet Stoicism teaches us that fear should not govern our decisions. Instead, we must confront it with courage and reason. Moreover, aging is a natural and inevitable process, but the Stoics urge us not to despair or retreat because of it. Seneca wrote extensively about embracing old age with dignity, viewing it as a phase rich with experience and wisdom. He argued that mental and moral development need not cease simply because the body grows older. The intelligent man, drawing on this insight, sees aging not as a prison, but as a platform, a place from which to continue growing, learning, and contributing. The Stoic ideal is to live in accordance with nature, which means accepting the reality of aging without allowing it to dictate the terms of one's life. This acceptance is not passive but active. It is a conscious choice to focus on what is within one's control, one's judgments, actions, and pursuit of virtue, rather than external, uncontrollable factors like chronological age. In practical terms, saying "I'm too old for that" often becomes a convenient excuse for procrastination or giving up on dreams, goals, or challenges. It can stun ambition and erode the inner fire that fuels personal growth. Intelligent men recognize that the mind remains adaptable and capable of growth throughout life. Just as the Stoics practiced daily reflection and mental discipline to cultivate resilience and wisdom, so too can any man choose to learn new skills, start new projects, and redefine his purpose at any age. Finally, the intelligent man understands that life is a series of opportunities to exercise virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. And these do not expire with age. By rejecting the limiting thought, "I'm too old for that," he embraces a mindset of lifelong growth, continually evolving in his pursuit of excellence and tranquility. In essence, the phrase "I'm too old for that" is a defeatist mindset incompatible with Stoic philosophy. The intelligent man recognizes that age is simply a number, while true vitality comes from the ongoing commitment to live a life of purpose, learning, and virtue, no matter the years behind him. Number 6, I'll do it later. Procrastination, the tempting impulse to say "I'll do it later," is one of the greatest thieves of our time and potential. It quietly undermines ambition, erodes discipline, and saps the vitality needed for meaningful progress. An intelligent man knows that postponing necessary action is not a sign of prudence or patience, but rather a subtle form of weakness and avoidance. From the Stoic perspective, this habit directly conflicts with the wisdom of living deliberately and valuing the present moment above all else. Marcus Aurelius, reflecting on the nature of time and action, writes in his Meditations, "Don't let your thoughts at once fly to what you lack, but to what you already have. The present moment is all you ever really have." This powerful reminder teaches us that the present is not just a fleeting instant, but the only opportunity we truly control. To defer action is to reject the gift of the now, entrusting our future to chance and uncertainty. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who emphasized the sovereignty of prohairesis, our ability to choose how we respond, warns that delaying what must be done is a failure to exercise this essential faculty. The intelligent man understands that procrastination is a choice to relinquish control over his own life. It is an act of self-deception, often motivated by fear of failure, discomfort, or the allure of distractions. Such avoidance leads not to relief, but to growing anxiety, missed chances, and regret. The Stoics teach that time is our most precious resource precisely because it is finite and irretrievable. Seneca famously said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." The phrase "I'll do it later" epitomizes this wasting of time. Each moment deferred is a moment lost forever, slipping beyond our reach. To live wisely is to cultivate urgency without desperation, to act with purpose and discipline today, rather than gamble on an uncertain tomorrow. Moreover, procrastination sabotages the cultivation of arete, the Stoic ideal of excellence in character. The intelligent man builds his character through consistent, intentional actions, not empty intentions or deferred commitments. He recognizes that the path to virtue is forged by small, persistent steps taken immediately, rather than grand plans indefinitely postponed. Choosing to act now also aligns with the Stoic practice of distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not. While we cannot command the future, we always have control over our present decisions and efforts. Saying "I'll do it later" surrenders this control to an unpredictable future, undermining the Stoic pursuit of tranquility through focused action on the present. In practical terms, procrastination accumulates burdens, stress, and missed opportunities for growth. It can lead to a snowball effect where tasks become overwhelming, motivation dwindles, and the gap between intention and action widens. The intelligent man counters this by prioritizing, breaking down tasks into manageable steps, and embracing the discipline of immediate action. In summary, the phrase, "I'll do it later," is a dangerous trap that wastes time, weakens resolve, and blocks growth. Guided by Stoic wisdom, the intelligent man seizes the present moment, takes decisive action, and cultivates discipline and courage to advance steadily toward his goals and virtues. Time is the most precious commodity we have, and the only moment truly within our power is now. Number 7. That's just how I am. The statement, "That's just how I am," is a declaration of defeat disguised as acceptance. It is a surrender to inertia, a refusal to engage in the lifelong work of self-improvement. An intelligent man never utters these words because he recognizes that such fatalism is antithetical to the very essence of Stoic philosophy, which centers on the belief that we are not defined by fixed traits or circumstances, but by our rational capacity to change, grow, and shape our character. To say "that's just how I am" is to reject the Stoic ideal that virtue and wisdom are cultivated through persistent effort and conscious choice. Epictetus famously asserted, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Mastery over oneself requires recognizing that character is not static but dynamic, forged in the crucible of habit, discipline, and intentional action. When a man claims, "That's just how I am," he abdicates his freedom and the power of prohoresis, the moral faculty to choose and to act according to reason. This phrase reflects a fixed mindset that confines the self within the limits of past behavior or ingrained patterns, denying the potential for transformation. Marcus Aurelius, throughout his meditations, wrestles with his own imperfections and reminds himself that growth is continuous and necessary. He writes, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." This call to action underscores a central Stoic tenet. Wisdom is found not in static definitions of identity, but in active daily engagement with virtue. The intelligent man understands that identity is shaped by what he does in each moment, not by excuses rooted in past habits or personality traits. The idea, "That's just how I am," often serves as a psychological shield protecting the ego from discomfort and responsibility. It is easier to blame unchangeable nature than to face the challenges of self-discipline, to shy away from examining one's flaws and committing to change. Seneca speaks to this when he says, "We are not given a short life, but we make it short, and we are not ill-supplied, but wasteful of it." Refusing to change is a profound form of wasting life's potential, stagnating where growth is possible. Furthermore, the Stoics teach that living according to nature means living according to reason, the capacity that distinguishes humans. This rational capacity empowers us to reflect, to judge rightly, and to improve. To reject change is to reject the natural human function and thus live in discord with oneself and the universe. By contrast, the intelligent man embraces an open, growth-oriented mindset, viewing himself as an ongoing project. He welcomes challenges and failures as necessary catalysts for growth. He understands that virtues like patience, courage, temperance, and justice are habits developed over time through consistent effort. The journey to self-mastery is lifelong, requiring humility to acknowledge weaknesses and courage to act despite them. In sum, "That's just how I am" is an intellectual and moral dead end. It denies the Stoic truths of personal agency, the transformative power of reason, and the potential for continuous self-improvement. The intelligent man rejects this defeatist phrase and instead commits himself to the Stoic path, to live intentionally, to cultivate virtue, and to see himself as a work forever in progress, capable of growth, change, and excellence at every stage of life. In the end, true intelligence isn't about knowing all the answers or never making mistakes. It's about cultivating humility, taking responsibility, and embracing the continuous journey of growth. The phrases we avoid saying reveal the mindset we embody, one rooted in wisdom, self-awareness, and resilience. Remember, the Stoics teach us that life is short, time is precious, and our power lies in how we choose to respond. Don't let these words slip from your lips and sabotage your potential. Instead, strive to live intentionally, act decisively, and grow relentlessly. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into Stoic philosophy and how it can transform your life. Comment below which phrase challenged you the most and how you plan to change your mindset today. The path to wisdom starts with one step. Take that step now.